Ozonics Killerwinds podcast back again.
I'm Nick Simon.
I'm not going to say my name.
Sounds good.
My name's I'll tell you one thing. I've talked about this before, but I've changed what my name is at times. When I go to restaurants or a fast food place and they ask for my name on the order, I always are like, "Oh, my name's Cole," and they go, "Paul?" I'm like, "No, Cole." And they go, "Colt?" So now I just go CT. That's what I say, CT.
That's what you're in my phone as.
I know. I saw that one day. CT. That's what I just say. I just say CT, and then they go, "Oh, okay." They get it right every single time. So, yeah, I don't know. Cole and Paul sounds a lot alike, I guess.
I guess so. I could see how they would mess that up a little bit.
I guess.
Through that junky speaker system.
Yeah. Paul? No, not Paul. All right, what are we talking about today?
Man, a lot of stuff, kind of. Where the turkeys are at. Might dig into some historical stories that we have.
Historical stories.
Which Cole, I know Cole has years and years on me for turkey hunting. I only got 3 years on my belt, but I feel like I got some cool stories that we probably haven't talked about. So we'll get into that a little bit. Maybe dive into some fortune cookies.
A little fortune cookie turkey hunting. Hey, we still got some season left.
Yep, we definitely do. So
let's jump right in.
Yeah. Okay,
so where are the turkeys at? I think last week we saw a definitive change.
Yeah.
We snuck out last week, and it was kind of funny because I said that to you that day when that happened. I was like, okay, that's definitely a shift.
Yeah.
We actually, so like I said, we've got two permission pieces. I think when all the dust settles of the season, the thing that I just will not be able to figure out is why on the one spot the turkeys have shifted so hard away from where they usually go.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
is unbelievable. And we've given it a fair shake.
Yeah, and
I kind of didn't want to go there last week, and Nick kind of talked me into it, which was the right move to make because you never know.
Yeah.
And I felt like if we didn't try it, I think the whole season would have gotten over. It would have been like, golly, why didn't we just go there one more time?
Yeah.
And it was the perfect day. You've heard me talk about before that, it's maybe this sounds silly, but I feel like one of the kind of the key factors for me on where and how I'm going to turkey hunt is the wind.
Yeah.
We get a lot of wind here, and turkeys don't like just to stand out in the middle of the wind. Sometimes they will, but for the most part, they don't like it.
Yeah.
Well, this top field, it was no wind, 2 mile an hour wind.
Yeah.
Even on the phone, it said calm. I mean, it was
there
calm.
was
There was nothing.
Dead still.
So it was the day to try this top field.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with that is they either fly down right in front of us and they're right there, or they fly to the bottom and they're out of your life.
Yeah.
Well, of course, you can't put any stock in this, and then you can put stock in this, and then it works for you and it doesn't work for you. The trail cameras.
Mm-hmm.
I got to sneeze.
Bless you. Bless you.
Woo! We had 2 or 3 toms walking out in this field with a few hens day after day after
Pretty
day.
consistently.
Yep. The day before, the day before that, the day before that, between 7 and 10. So I was like, okay, well, there's definitely birds here. And for whatever reason, they're working through this field. So let's try it, Calm day, everything looked really good. Let's give it one more shake.
Mm-hmm.
So we take Jet out there, I pull him out of school, you know what I mean? And we try it. And of course, the birds come down and go the opposite direction.
Yeah, well, the toms did. We had a couple hens coming in the field, but
Yeah.
all the toms were see you later.
Yep. Hasta luego. We're going to the north.
Yep.
So, but yeah, we had these hens coming down. We're like, okay, here we go, baby. And yelping, cutting, and it's like, okay. And this time of year, and a lot of throughout the season, I've said this before too, I like to try to call out the hens. If I can call hens in, usually that means toms are going to follow.
Yeah.
And so here, sure enough, these 2 hens get on the field, and the lead hen, she was not liking it.
No.
So I'm cutting right back at her, cutting her off, interrupting her, and she was not having it. So she marched all the way across. It's like, okay, here we go. Toms, You can hear her doing her thing. Then I kind of quieted down. I'm like, okay, she's pretty much pot committed.
Yeah.
So she walked all the way in, and man, she got in on that decoy.
Beat the crap out of it.
Yeah. Well, and it wasn't the fight that we were expecting.
No.
And it was actually kind of a really cool thing to see because you don't see it very often. That was about as full strut as a hen will get.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, she was all fluffed out.
Yep.
She was not having it.
Yep.
And again, that's a posturing hen.
Yeah.
So that's kind of an aggressive stance for a hen. And then that hen was like, nope.
Yeah.
And she was giving that decoy a headache.
Oh, yeah.
Just pecking at it.
Beat the
pecking
brakes
at it.
off it.
Oh, yeah, dude. So that was pretty cool to watch.
Yeah.
And there has been, that's the type of things that, you know, it's funny. I was actually in the truck yesterday with Jet, and he made a comment. He's like, man, we've had a rough turkey season. And I'm like, well, yeah, in the way of harvesting turkeys, yeah, it's been a bit rough. Just haven't killed hardly any, one, you know. I'm like, but Jet, we've had some pretty cool things happen. You know, I'm like, think about the day we went with Nick, and he got the video of that just absolute ginormous one.
Yeah.
I'm like, we had that hen beat the tar out of that decoy the other day, which is pretty cool. I'm like, we've gone out and had birds really close to us and gobbling hard and just.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, no, you're right. You know, and I'm like, and Nick got one. So there's more to it than just killing, like we've talked about before.
Yeah.
And so you kind of try to really savor those moments. Like with that hen the other day, it was really neat to see it.
That was super cool. I've definitely never seen anything remotely like that. I mean,
Well, and you couldn't have filmed those hens much closer. The one hen walked 2 feet from the blind.
oh, yeah, right
there,
by us. Yeah.
right there. So, you know, it feels like right now. So that morning, it was kind of like, well, what's going on? You know what I mean? Like at some point here, these hens have got to start searching and figuring out where they want to make a nest,
Yeah.
you know, and laying on a nest. So, you know, kind of felt like we were getting to that point. And so we sat there, and, you know, later on in the morning, it's like, okay, let's try to call a bit more. Kind of got past the lull, see if we can get something to light up.
Yeah.
And sure enough, quite a few call sequences in, all of a sudden one finally hammered back.
Yep.
Well, then one hammered back, two hammered back, three hammered back, and they all just started just kind of working towards us.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, here we go. And they just hammered and hammered and hammered, came up through the woods from the north, coming to the south. Finally, you could tell distinctly that's a very crisp, loud gobble. He's on the field.
On the field.
We
Yeah.
couldn't see him because there was just like the fence and some
Fence line's
brush.
very brushy.
Yeah, he's just hard to see through. And then, of course, you know, it's like the whole 90-10. He came 90%. He wanted us to come 10%.
Yeah.
We were saying, you come 100%. And so he just wouldn't come any closer. Whether it was the same bird or a different bird, a while after that, which I think it was a different one because there's like a road that we pretty sure.
I think it was too.
It
Yeah.
sounds like he just gobbled up that road.
Yeah.
Came around the corner, got around that corner, and just hammered. Just hammered. At less than 200 yards away, 150 yards away. And you could tell he had to have been one of the dominant birds or the dominant bird because he was strutting, he was gobbling, he wasn't acting anxious or shy at all.
Red hot.
Yep, red hot the whole time. But he as well was sticking his head way up, like trying to see what he was hearing.
Yeah.
Again, the tree line kind of really biffed us on that whole deal.
Yeah.
Because he just couldn't see the decoys.
Yeah.
We've really switched to just hens.
Yep.
You know, with what we're going to talk about next, it feels like you could switch a lot back now to more, but we'll get to that. Or you could stick with hens. But anyway, so needless to say, he gobbled kind of past us at like about 100 yards, just not wanting to come that way. Didn't see what he was hearing. Felt like he should have been able to see it, but couldn't see it. I don't think that helped. Then he kind of worked back to the north, and then he kind of walked out of our lives.
Yeah.
But it was really, really neat to hear him gobble like that. And I know Jet wants to get one so bad.
Mm-hmm.
Probably try to get him out one more time for sure. But yeah, the interesting thing, the thing that was kind of the big takeaway from that day is it was late in the morning. Okay, let's get out of here. And late in the morning, we're driving just down the gravel roads, and we're seeing hen after hen after hen at 10, 11 o'clock, all by themselves, just on the march.
Yeah.
And I made that comment to you right away. I said, okay, there you go. That's it. That's what we haven't been seeing.
Yeah.
The hens are starting to break off, and everything is going to get really, really exciting here. It's going to get really hot because when the hens start to walk off and try to figure out where they want to nest, the toms are still ready to go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so that's when you can really capitalize, and is when those hens, when they finally break away and the hens aren't there and they're looking and searching and they're still revved up, you can really get after them.
Yeah.
And so I was pretty bound and determined, like, hey man, let's get back out there. Well, with schedules and work and everything else, it just didn't work at all.
Yep.
And so, and that really, really bothered me because I'm like, golly, it's the best time to go. And the next day, the trail cameras were, and again, you know, you cannot put stock in trail cameras, but you can't deny how many birds were in front of the cameras, gobbling their heads off, strutting, just carrying on.
Fighting each other.
Yeah, right in front of the cameras, just going berserko.
Yeah.
And so I definitely think we're at that stage now where the hens are starting to move off and you can really get after them.
Yeah.
You know, we talk about these couple sweet spots. We're definitely kind of in this other sweet spot. The problem with it is that it wanes pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like, it's hot right if you can hit it right then, but it'll cool off, you know, like as the days go by.
Yeah.
And they get less and less response and less action.
Yeah.
They just kind of like accept defeat.
Right. For
Does
sure.
that make sense?
Yeah.
And I think, and again, this is where your cousins are hunting is a state away, right?
Yeah.
Hours away. But they were seeing the same thing. All of a sudden,
exact thing.
All of a sudden, toward the end of last week was you were hearing from Benny and those guys saying, holy cow, dude, it is just exploding here.
Yeah.
Tom's just running in to a fan, just running across the field.
Yeah.
You're not seeing one, you're seeing three.
Yeah.
You know, and we're seeing that now too, where all of a sudden we've got these 4 Toms hanging around together. It's almost like this fear of missing out.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Definitely.
It's like you and I are Toms. We're walking around. We were kind of going separate ways because you were following her and I was following her. But now all of a sudden it's like, well, where are you going?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Where are you going? Well, I'm going to go this way. Well, hey, I'll follow you.
Yeah,
Well, all of a sudden another Tom comes like, hey, where are you two going? Well, I'm following him. Well, I'm following him. Well, I better come too. You know, because then it's just all of a sudden they're thinking that one might have an idea that the other 3 don't.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden 1 turns into 2, turns into 3, turns into 4.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's been really funny throughout the year because it's basically me and Benny and all those guys up in Wisconsin. I mean, we've basically seen the exact same thing from week to week.
Yeah.
Like we're always texting pretty much every single day, just talking about turkey hunting. And it's just like, yeah, we're seeing really the same exact thing. But yeah, they killed 2 birds last week, one day and then the next day, back-to-back days, both reaping. Just come running in, they said. Yep. So yeah, it's a good weekend for them guys for sure.
And that's, again, we've said this before, and I keep feeling I'm beating a dead horse, but we put ourselves at I don't want to call it a disadvantage, but we put ourselves in a bit of a corner in the fact that we hunt a certain technique, certain
it's just
way.
Different. Yeah,
we hunt in blinds, try to shoot them with a bow. If we just wanted to kill birds, we would throw the bow to the side, or we would just go, we're not going to sit in a blind. We're just going to go. We're just going to run and gun. We're going to reap.
Yeah.
We would change technique, but we're trying to kind of do it the way we want to do it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not like I said, and it's okay. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
It's just the way it is. So, but yeah, so it's been interesting. We'll see. Like I said, we're kind of in the last week. Usually season would be done by now. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of interesting. Everything's starting to green up. You know, gobbles are going to start to sound farther away than they really are because it's not going to carry as good.
Yeah.
You know, we're having some hot weather right now,
Super
really hot weather.
hot,
Yeah, 80 to 85 degrees all week.
Yeah.
Which is bizarre. Which I guess is not that bizarre. It is getting to be middle of May. But yeah, so we'll try to get after a little bit more, see what we can do. The thing that I think is going to be fun this week is you got that feeding hen decoy in. And that's what I was saying earlier. That's what's interesting is seeing that all these toms are kind of grouped up again.
Yeah.
That's where I feel like the mating pair
Mating pair.
Now that's even getting a little bit late, but if they did see a hen getting mated, they're going to go, holy guacamole, they're going to come running over.
Yeah.
Posturing. Jake could get good again. You know what I mean? All of a sudden they're like you said, you're starting to see them fight. They're looking for it.
Yeah.
You know? But also they knew they got their butt kicked isn't very far away either.
Right.
So that's where like I like the idea of trying to, like we talked about last week, I would rather try to bestow confidence. I like the laying down hen, the posturing hen, the feeding hen, especially that feeding hen, just hens.
Yeah.
Where all of a sudden they look at it and they go, well, geez, that's exactly what we're looking for. They're not, we haven't seen hens lately. There's 3 hens right there. Run right in.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you can't deny the fact that like your cousins are seeing, these reaping fans are working too, a full strut reaping fan.
Mm-hmm.
So there's truth in that too, where that can really be good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's worth a shot. If you've got the time to go and try multiple days or multiple mornings, multiple things, you could do a little bit of everything.
Oh, yeah,
and I think
sure.
it really just depends on the bird. Anything can work.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Depending on just how it, it's like I said, that's the thing. Turkeys, there's no rhyme or reason.
No.
Nothing. Yeah. It's just funny how they just kind of do what they want to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been fun. Like I said, I love turkey season. This year's been a little bit harder for me. I've just had a lot going on.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just been a bit of a challenge to try to like make the time.
Yeah, no doubt.
To get out there, which is okay.
Yeah,
that's
there's
just
nothing wrong with that.
It's just how it is. That's okay.
And like you said too, I mean, we haven't killed a ton. We've killed more in years past, but gosh, it's still been a really fun year. I think.
Yeah.
Just been having a blast.
Well, I'll tell you what. I made a comment to you the other day of something that I think would be really fun for next year, just cause, would be to do archery only on the first tag, and then just do a 4-season gun tag.
Yeah.
And do like a backpack / camping tent.
Yeah. That would
like
be really fun.
on a big piece of public for just like a day or two.
Be awesome.
Yeah. And just run and gun, stay in a tent, get up in the morning, put it all in the back of a pack and go wherever we end up is where we end up.
Yep.
And just hunt them all day long.
Yeah, it'd be so fun.
Hey, you know what? Seems like a good time to sit against this tree and listen to the birds for an hour.
Yeah,
just sit and
exactly.
listen and then, let's go stand up. Oh, hey, you know what? Let's go get a piece of Casey's Pizza. Run to town. That would be really fun.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah.
I would definitely do that.
So that would be really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, into the last week. And, again, I've had good luck right at the end of the year too. I've had really good luck right at the end of the season. I've had good luck on the last day.
Yeah.
And we saw it last year. All of a sudden, we did some turkey tours after the season was over, even into June, and you're just seeing them in the field, just standing there, just full strut. I mean,
well into June. I remember there was one time I drove to work from Wisconsin in the morning and came right down by the office, and there's a field that you could see turkeys in, and there was like 3 strutters in there. It was like middle of June.
Well, with our kids, and my wife's family, we go over to Lake Okoboji first part of June every year.
Yeah.
And Lake Okoboji is, if you've ever been there, it's this beautiful lake. But if you get off the lake, there's lots of tall grass, prairie, pothole country like marshes, but these big bur oak stands. A lot of bur oaks right along the lake. It's just really, really cool.
Yeah.
And all these bur oak patches around the lake, it's all developed. So it's all houses all throughout these tracts of timber and woods and stuff. And every year, Jet and I, we do deer and turkey tours at night. And there are turkeys all through there.
Oh, yeah.
And they just scream.
I bet.
This time of year is always a bit anticlimactic for me at the end of the season because I look forward to turkey hunting so much. I love turkey hunting. I'm like Nick's doing it too. I have a first gobble note in my phone for the whole season. That first gobble you hear in the morning, it's always like, oh, what time was it? 5:21 or whatever. It's so fun to hear them gobble. And I always say that the best gobble to hear is the next one.
Yeah.
But this time of year, it can be a little sad too because you're going to hear the last one.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
You're going to hear the last gobble of the season.
Yep.
Last gobble of the spring anyway. Sometimes we get lucky and we'll hear them gobble in the fall, but it doesn't hit the same. It's not like that. It doesn't have that almost like that passion behind it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
well, I mean, I think it's
Like-
just because like that's not what you're looking for in the fall.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? It doesn't have that like intention. Like
Yeah.
when they gobble in the spring, there's something about it,
Yeah,
you know, that you're just like, man.
yeah,
And so I always ending up usually the last gobble I hear is usually at Lake Okoboji.
yeah.
Because when we see toms there, you know, you're not supposed to call him. You're not trying to harass him or anything. But you pull over on the side of the road and you roll down the window and Jet and I just sit there. We're just kind of like, man, come on, guy, just do it.
Yeah,
Gobble one time. Come on, gobble, gobble, gobble. And then sure enough, sometimes they will.
yeah.
And usually we'll hear one or two of them while we're there. So,
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so it's getting to be that time of year where the last gobble is going to be coming up.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yep.
hopefully the last gobble we hear is one that we're about ready to thwap,
Yeah. Yep.
lay the smack down to. We'll see.
Yeah. It's should be good. I'm excited for these last couple hunts here.
Yeah. Yeah. So what else?
What would you say your favorite turkey story is?
Man,
Could date way back.
favorite turkey story. Man, that's tricky. Because I can think of yeah, you know what? That's interesting because sometimes I feel like when you say that, and I don't mean this in a braggadocious way, but sometimes I feel like I kind of forgotten a lot more of them
Yeah.
than I remember.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean they kind
Yeah.
of start to blur together?
Yeah.
These even things that have happened in the last couple of years that you're like, oh, remember this? And I'm like, geez, I don't remember that at all. I'm like, nope, I don't remember that. You know, I'm like, really? We did that? He's like, you're like, yeah. I'm like, okay. You know, man, you know, some of the ones that will always be super memorable for me was like when Jet killed his first one.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool just because he was 4.
Yeah.
He was so little and, you know, getting to be on the gun and understand what's going on. And literally that was just a situation where we had the gun on the bipod or the tripod, excuse me. And I had it pointed in one direction and I literally only let him move it like on his shoulder just a little bit. And if he couldn't shoot it right there, then we weren't going to kill it.
Yeah.
Because that meant he only had like one little window
Yeah.
of the whole setup.
Yeah.
And if they came right by there and they stopped, then we would kill them. And if
Yeah.
not, then we weren't going to get one.
Right.
And he had that happen. We had it work out twice like that year. So it's just, that was pretty cool. And
Yeah.
the first one he killed was an absolute slob.
Yeah.
Seriously, probably weighed just as much as he did. Me, it was a big old turkey.
Yeah.
God, it was big. Beautiful, super white fan.
Yeah.
So that was a pretty cool hunt. And Tatum was there. That was really neat. It
Yeah.
just so happened that day she came with.
Heck yeah.
And so that was pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, I've had some pretty memorable, like when I used to guide for turkeys, had some hunts that were pretty cool. Some of the ones I vividly remember are ones that I had to kind of get out and tackle them. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I had a guy one time, we've told the story earlier this season, that a guy shot the foot off of one on accident, shot it with a bow, and something happened, and he shot the foot off, clean off. And you wouldn't think a one-legged turkey could run very fast, but that guy got across the field, man. He did. He got across the field, like right now. And like what happened with Nick's, a lot of times they'll go to cover, they'll get to cover, and they'll just lay right down. So sure enough, we get out of the blind, and we had permission for this whole area. So I was like, okay, we don't have to worry about like getting on across where we're not supposed to be or anything, like where all of a sudden we're gonna have to stop.
Yeah.
But I was like, let's go over there. And sure enough, like if he's there, he'll probably emergency cluck, and then it'll be a little bit of a rodeo, you know. We get over there. Sure enough, he emergency clucks, stands up, and he's like not very far away from me. Like run over there. He gets just enough of a hobble along to fly. So he flies up, and then he comes right back down like a couple yards away and gets in this thick stuff. I see him again. So I run over there. And sure enough, I got in this real thick brush and see him in there. And him and I do this little me chasing him around. And then he turned over and spurred and cut my hand real good with his one leg. You know, it's like, really, dude, you have 2 legs. You only got one left. And you still figured out a way to spur me right in the hand as I was trying to stop him. So that was just something. I had a guy one time that came turkey hunting, and he didn't even really want to be there. He got to come on the hunt. Like he was the client of this guy. So the guy brought him as like, oh, you're my, it's like salesman client, right? And the guy's like, yeah, man. He's like, I'm not turkey hunter. Like, I don't, like, I'm here. I appreciate having the opportunity to come. And this is kind of a once in a lifetime type thing. Like, I would never go turkey hunting in Southern Colorado, but here we are.
Yeah.
Like, okay. And he's like, and I'm like, well, you tell me what you want to do. And he goes, well, the first couple days here, like, I've just been sitting in one spot. Like, I don't want to sit. Like, I don't, like, I'm not like, I don't sit when I'm at home. I'm always working, moving around. He's like, can we do something where we walk around a lot? Yeah, sure, man. Like, we can do that. I'm like, that's not the most effective way to kill a turkey. I'm like, but if that's what you want to do, like, it's your hunt, man. Like, we do whatever you want. Well, that's what I want to do. I want to like cover some ground. I'm like, okay. So we went into this one, like canyon, and there was like other kind of canyons that were off of it. And we were in the bottom, and they went straight up onto these big high spots. And so, we just basically worked down this canyon, and I just kind of yelped as we went, mouth calling as we went, just see if we could get something to kind of cock off down the canyon or above us, and then see what would happen. And sure enough, we got a tom gobbling on the very top. And it's like, golly, it's going to be tough trying to come all the way down in here, but like, let's just try. So we kind of got down and got in position, and I kind of kept calling, and he was above us and would just not. He was like straight above us. And we weren't going to be able to get up there to him.
Yeah.
I was like, well, he's going to have to come down here. And he was straight above us. And it was funny because this was the perfect example of sometimes you just have to stop calling. So I get him all set up, and I'm like, we're set up and all ready to go. And I'll never forget, we were just kind of around this little bend, and there's all these little small little like ponderosas and pinions and stuff right in front of us. And I told him, I said, listen, dude, if he's going to come, we're just going to have to he's going to have to come all the way, and they're not going to be able to get up there to him. And I'm just going to stop calling and just see if we can get him to really commit, because he's going to think that hen's just like walking off.
Yeah.
So I literally put my call completely away, and we just sat there. And he didn't like that. He was like, come on, man, keep him gobbling. I'm like, no. Let's just wait. Let's just see what happens. I think we just need to stop calling. Well, sure enough, 10, 15, 20 minutes goes by, and all of a sudden he gobbles, and he's down there. He came all the way down. And I was like, okay, dude, get ready. Here we go. And he starts coming. And dude, just the way he walked in, we were like all around a little bit of a corner, and there was a little bit of a contour like this. And so he's coming in, and I'm set up right here, and the guys sit right here, like on the gun. I'm like, okay, dude, like just get ready. And I'm like, he's going to come down right here at like 30 yards. Like he'll probably just be right out here down this opening. Get ready. So he gobbled once, and he was like down the hill. He was down. I'm like, okay. And he gobbles again. He's probably like 50 yards. I was like, okay, get ready. Right here. We're going to come out. He gobbles again, and he's right up against the trees right next to us, just on the other side of the contour. And I was like, we couldn't see him yet. And I said, dude, shift your body. He's going to come out right here. So he's got the gun like right in front of me like this. And I'm like sitting back like this. And he's kind of turned like kind of all cocked. And I was like, dude, here we go. And all of a sudden, here he comes full strut. This big Merriam Tom comes full strut over this little contour. And dude, he's at like 5 yards. Full gobble, 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 gobble. I mean, full gobble. Like, and dude, I can to this day hear that echo like in that canyon. And he gobbled hard, dude. Like in our face. And I could see him, like, I could see his gun like move, like it scared him. So, and I'm like, all right, dude. And I'm kind of whispering like his cousin. I was like, okay, I'm gonna emergency cluck, like get ready. So I just went, and he was so close, like he instantly came out of strut and was like, whoa, what was that? And I'm like, shoot him, and boom. And dude, it was like blood splash. You know what I mean? We were so close. It was as close as I've ever killed one. Yeah.
That's
and
awesome.
It was awesome. And he lost it. We were yelling and screaming. That's exactly what I wanted to do. And rah, rah, rah. But yeah, so that was great. That was a pretty cool one.
That is awesome.
Especially because he just didn't want to, he kind of felt like, not like he was having a bad hunt, but it's just not the way he thought it was going to go.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So
That's
that was
awesome.
pretty neat. And then the other one that's really memorable is one time I had a guy that was pretty adamant about wanting to kill it with a bow, wanting to use decoys and all this stuff. And we were hunting on this spot, we call it the river spot or whatever. And we could sit pretty close to where they were roosting. Well, I had gotten to the point where I was like, you know what? Like, they would come down and they would be like right there. And then you were just hoping you could get one to come in. And so I talked to the landowner and I'm like, hey, I'm going to put a blind out here for a bit. He's like, okay. I was like, where are you going to put a blind? I'm like, and he knew where the turkeys were too. I was like, I'm going to put it in the corner there by those cottonwoods. And he looked at me, he's like, okay. And I was like, yeah, I know. He was not like unhappy about it. He was like, what are you thinking here? He's like, they're going to be roosted right above you. I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm like, here's the thing. If we can get in there quiet, really in the dark, I'm like, they'll pitch down on it in front of us. And then when they end up walking off the field, they're going to come right back by right where they roosted. They walk right in there. I'm like, they should come right back by. I'm like, or they'll just come right down and they'll pitch right down in front of us and we can just kill one like right away.
Yeah.
And he's like, are you going to be able to get in there? I'm like, well, I got to get in there really early, So sure enough, and you know me, I'm like out there in the middle of the night. So I get this guy up like really early and he's like, what are we doing? And it's like a 45-minute drive to where we were going. So it was even earlier. And I told him like, no lights, gotta be really, really quiet, like no talking, like at all. And I'm like zipping the blind, like one little like zip, zip, like takes like 10 minutes to zip the blind up. No talking. Like I'm like whisper yelling at him the whole time. And he was like really questioning the whole time. He's like, oh, are you sure there's turkeys here? I'm like, are you sure? Like, are you really sure? I'm like, is this where they think they're going to be? I'm like, so I was just being really like, man, I don't know. Like, I hope so. Like I was trying to act like I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I'm like, yeah, man, I guess like we've seen turkeys here before. Like, I guess we'll see. Well, and he was a turkey hunter could call. So they hadn't started gobbling yet. And I was like, hey, why don't you just give out like just a real soft like tree up if you don't mind, like just something real soft, just to see. And he yelped, and dude, no, we're talking, there was 100 turkeys. There would be 25 toms in the field. That's how many there would be. It'd be 100 of them. And all these 20 some toms, he let out that tree yelp and it was just like, and he about jumped out of his seat. He's like, and of course, it's like, you son of a, you know what I mean? He's like, what the? And I'm like, and then they're gobbling and him yelling at me. You know what I mean? He's like, he's laughing. They're gobbling. I'm like, oh, you gotta be quiet. But yeah, so that was pretty funny. And then they ended up coming down, and then he shot one right it was like the sun came up, and then they just one strutted in, and he made a great shot.
That's awesome.
So yeah, that was pretty funny. It's kind of funny. It's like those are the types of ones that I remember.
Yeah,
like the funny types of things, like the memorable
ones. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, I had a guy one time that it was the last day of his hunt, and kind of in that same area, and these toms were just not cooperating, and they were stuck on the hens, and they would not come in. Nothing would work, and it was like an irrigation field where they do flood irrigation. So there's these big white pipes.
Yeah,
the pipes are like a foot tall,
Yeah.
And it's like this alfalfa field. And so I told him, I said, well, I'm like, he was 2 pipes out into the field, and it's a pretty flat field. But anyway, so I was like, it was like late in the morning. It was his last day, and this Tom's out there strutting. And I'm like, well, we can always just try to crawl out to him. I'm like, we can stay low, like in this grass, and like we get to the pipes, that'll be the problem. Like, but if we can get him, if we can both watch, and when he struts away, we can quick climb over the pipe, and then the other person will watch, and then when he turns away again, the next person climb over the pipe. So sure enough, that's what we did. Well, here's the thing: it was a flood irrigation field, and they were flooding the field.
Just wet.
Oh, dude, we were piss soaked. I mean, soaked. So we're crawling this, and he's looking at me like, this better work. And I'm like, probably not going to. So just be ready to be wet for the ride home. So we crawl through the field. We get to the first pipe. I'm watching. Okay, climb over real fast. He climbs over. And then I'm like, okay, now you watch. He climbs over. So we crawl up to the next pipe. Same thing. Crawl over, crawl to the next pipe. Well, he had worked away from us. It's like, oh. Well, I had my rangefinder, so I'm ranging. I was like, we had a 10 gauge. The guy had a 10 gauge. And he called it the cannon. And he's like, oh man, I got the cannon, man. I got the cannon. I'll shoot it. And I was like, so I range was like, it was like 84 yards. I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, dude, that is a poke. No, I can do it. I'm like, all right. So it was one tom with like 3 hens. So they were kind of, they're constantly moving around. So finally the tom kind of got off to the side where he was completely by himself, like off to the side. I'm like, okay, dude. Well, we rested him. I rested him on the pipe. So he had like a super steady rest.
Yeah.
Like literally it was like almost like not a prone position, but kind of.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, dude, I'm gonna emergency cluck at him and we'll just see if we can get him to like stick his head way up. I'll cluck at him like a few times and you really settle in and just try it. So sure enough, I emergency cluck at him. He sticks his head way up, and I kind of cluck at him again. And he's kind of doing this, kind of standing there. I'm like, all right, man, let her eat. And dude, he just stone cold that thing. I mean, just like takes him right off of his feet, straight to the ground, deader than a doornail. I'm like, oh my gosh. But the funniest part is that guy would tell you the story that as soon as he shot, like, you know how I am, I was already halfway across.
Oh, yeah.
I'm running. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I learned that over the years, especially being a recurve guy with my bow, like you shoot them and then you want to stop them. You know what I mean? You don't want them crappie flop or try to get up and get away. So I would stop them and jump on them. You know what I mean? And so as soon as guys would shoot, I would be running across the field to grab them, wring their neck, done, And so as soon as that gun went off, dude, I was like,
you were there
out of the blocks, just hauling across the field and got to him. And he was already just stone cold.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Oh, and then Jerry and I had that one a couple years back. I've told you that story. We didn't reap him, but it was a lone tom by himself. He was like three or four jakes that were bothering him. Walked him away into the corner of this field. We were in the opposite corner, and he just stood there, and you could just see him kind of on strut and coming down off strut. He just wouldn't leave that corner. It was ryegrass in the field. And same thing, we're set up in a blind, and he was gun hunting, and I'm like, I said, end of the season, I said, you know what? Let's just try something different. Let's just go at him. I said, I got that fan. So we get this fan set up, and I said, you just walk behind me, and we'll just walk all the way across this field. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, he'll run away. What's the difference? End of the hunt anyway. So sure enough, we carried that fan all the way across the field. I was looking, range finding him the whole time. We got up to like 25 yards away from him. I was like, all right, dude, get beside me, safety off, like just stand up and shoot him. And he was right there. He just stood there and looked at that fan the whole way across, didn't leave. Sure enough, he stands up, and I cluck at him. He sticks his head up. He shoots. He misses. Well, of course, now he's Oscar Mike in it, right? He's running to the left, and I'm kind of standing in the way. I'm like, dude, just take one more shot at him. I'm like, lead him. And he let him, same thing, just stoned him. So again, me running across the field, I ran over there. I grabbed him. He spurred me bad too. And then when we got back, I was bounded from him. I'm like, man, where did you hit him? I couldn't find a BB in that stupid thing.
Really?
Oh yeah, I don't know if it just like stunned him. You know what I mean? Like there must have been one in there somewhere.
Yeah.
But I couldn't find a BB.
Wow.
But yeah. So
that's funny.
So that some of those types of stories are fun. Like
Heck yeah.
It's fun when you kind of, and that's what I think that I'll start to make some memories like that with Jet, where it is kind of fun to run and gun, you know what I mean?
Right.
And that's, like I said earlier, the technique that we're trying to do is sitting in a ground blind, waiting, trying to get video, trying to shoot them with a bow. And so you're really trying to kind of put these turkeys within a box that they don't really want to be in. You know what I mean? Like that has always worked that way. I think one of the big things about turkey hunting is just being a bit more, you have to be more, I don't know how to say this. You got to be more versatile, or you have to be more accommodating. You got to be more ready to change and do things differently. And that's okay. But the way we're trying to do it is just how we're trying to do it. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if you kind of open up the toolbox of techniques of running and gunning, reaping, spot and stalking, calling, not calling, hunting them close to the roost, hunting them where they're going to end up being later, just trying to almost pattern them on a field edge, or, you know what I mean? Or sitting in a ground blind, hunting with decoys, not hunting with decoys at all, not hunting with decoys, not hunting with a ground blind, sitting and not doing any calling, there's so many different ways and things that you can do. And I felt like when I was guiding, you're trying to get it done in a short window, kind of like you're talking about like your buddies that are going to going on a turkey hunting trip or whatever.
Yeah.
You only got a few days. You're like, dude, throw the rule book out the window.
Yeah.
No holds bar, go at them, be super aggressive.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the thing that we don't do.
Yeah.
We hunt a lot more passively.
Definitely.
And so some of the most memorable stories are when you really just go, okay, let's go for it. Let's just go for it.
Yeah.
And that's really, with a lot of types of hunts that I've done, that's sometimes the most memorable stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Is when you go, well, this is either going to be one of those really, really awesome memories, or we're going to go, gosh, we really foobarred that whole thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Does that make sense?
Right, yeah.
And so, but yeah, those are some of the fun ones.
Heck yeah.
Sorry, that was like a 20-minute
Oh,
rant.
that's all right.
Yeah. It's funny. The consistent thing across the board is me running after them and tackling them.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, the other fun one was that one that was at last year, 2 years ago, that Jet had that one where those two toms were fighting. It was 2 years ago, or first one last year. Two toms were fighting on the edge of the field, and
Oh, yeah.
the tom that got his butt kicked flew up into a tree, and I didn't know a turkey could stand on a branch. It was a vertical branch, dude.
Yeah.
It was the very tip top. He literally clamped onto the branch with his feet, and then the branch like kind of bent over, so it was just enough that he could like balance. He was way up there.
Yeah.
It's like, and Jet's looking at me, and I'm like, dude, I ain't ever seen that before. I don't know what's going on. And he sat up there, all these hens on the field, and I'm like, he's looking down at us. He could see the decoys, he could see the ground blind. And I said, geez, I don't know what is going on right now. I'm like, Jet's like, Dad. And I'm like, dude, this is a new one for me too, buddy. I'm like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, that's
We're
awesome.
looking at that bird up there. He sat up there for 20 minutes. He just sat there, didn't make a peep. Finally, he pitched off of it, and he came down like a jet, dude. Vroom. Got right on those hens, laid his wings out, landed, full strut, and was just like, all right, ladies, I'm here.
Yeah.
And those hens kind of walked down the edge, and then they turned and walked towards us, and then he just walked right up there. And that was a cranker.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Which is crazy because he was the one that got his butt kicked.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably that double bearder is what it is.
Could be. Double bearder.
But yeah, just seeing him do that was really bizarre.
Yeah.
And then the other one that's always memorable, I've told you this story earlier this season, was, a spot that when I guided, that they always roost on this one spot. It was like that river spot, all these cottonwoods. And I sometimes, depending on when clients were there or not there, or how hard we were trying to really push, I would roost them in the afternoons or the evenings. If we hunted all day, or if we didn't hunt the evening, we go, okay, let's go, we'll put in the time in this spot, we'll hunt in the morning. Mm-hmm. So sit far away, watching, listening, not a single gobble, don't see a single turkey, none of them roosted in there. Sat there till pitch dark. I'm like, golly, that's weird. I'm like, they always roost here. I don't know where else they would be. And I was like, man, I told the guy, I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, I think we still come here because this is where they want to be. Every day they're out here. They're always out here. Let's try it anyway. So we come back in the morning, and I'm telling you, dude, I sat there till pitch dark. Come back the next morning, they were all roosted in that spot.
Crazy.
So the only thing I come up with, and I've heard of turkeys doing this, is they'll roost and they'll just jump trees.
Yeah.
They'll hop from one to the next and hop from one to the next to where they actually want to be.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Had to have been what they did.
Yeah, for sure. That's crazy.
Yeah. So, but anyway, yeah, I could tell turkey stories all day long.
Oh, yeah.
But we've got to do the last edition of fortune cookie turkey hunting.
Got one more next week.
You think so?
I got Wisconsin
Oh,
yet.
geez, you do. I keep forgetting about that. So I'm the only one that's going to be done. This really sucks. I didn't realize that. Thanks for holding that one back. Jeez, oh Pete.
We got one more. We gotta do one more set next week.
You have a whole nother week. You sandbagging son of a gun. Unbelievable.
Yep.
No wonder I was the only one bummed out this whole time. You were just sitting there, oh, yeah, it's okay.
Oh, I'm still bummed out to be done in Iowa.
Yeah. What was our fortunes from last week?
Last week they were, your kindness always returns in unexpected ways.
That didn't pan out.
That did not pan out. Your generosity touches more hearts than you know.
Maybe that was panned out because we got to spend time together with us and Jet.
Yep. This was all bent up. Your ability to juggle many tasks will take you far. I don't know.
No, those ones really stunk it up. Okay, 3 more. Maybe that was the listener one.
Broken. Good. Broken. Good.
Okay, here we go.
All right. Keep it the same. I will do mine first.
Nick's fortune first for the last week of turkey hunting, so we can get one more archery in Iowa.
Ooh, your dearest wish will come true
When you're turkey hunting.
when you're turkey hunting.
What is that going to be? Is that double bearder, or is it just any bearder?
Any bearder.
Man, I got kind of a vendetta for that big honker.
All right, your turn.
Oh, I got to open it.
This is
my,
yours.
My fortune. My fortune to help Nick or Jet get some turkalurks. Let's see what we got here. Okay, lucky numbers. If you're looking for lotto numbers. Whoa, this could be good. Expect the unexpected.
Oh,
That's a good fortune. We need some of that. We need some expect the unexpected.
unexpectation.
You know what that tells me is we're going to go to where I'm talking about going, and they're all of a sudden just going to show up from a different direction. They're going to just come hauling in. We're going to go, what are you doing over there?
I could see that because that big group was on a different side of the road yesterday.
Were they really?
But then they came back by the end of the night.
Yeah, see, that's what we need. Okay, what's our listener fortune?
Listener
fortune. Listen, one thing I want to say, I am not joking. I'm getting tired of eating fortune cookies. This is getting to be a lot. 3 per week
fine.
podcast is getting to be too many to eat.
It's fine. Goodness is the only investment that never fails.
Goodness is the only investment that never fails.
Invest your goodness, people.
Hey, there's a lot of truth in that. Be good.
All right, so there we go.
Listen, we've got a lot of fortunes on the table here.
Yep.
Some of them have been great. Some of them have been a little generic, a little too general. We need more specific.
Yeah.
Expect the unexpected, though. I like that.
Your
That sounds
dearest
right
wish will come true. That's pretty good, too.
We're getting right to it. That sounds like end of the season. Fortunes need to start narrowing it down. They narrowed it down.
I mean, here's the deal. I think every hunter, his wish is to tag out.
Yeah.
So for mine, if it's got a beard, I'm going to try and get him.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes during deer season, it's like if it's brown, it's down. Turkey season, if it's got a beard and it's a legal bird, it's Operation Indo Facto Dead.
Yes. Yep. Here we go, man. One last week.
Oh, yeah. I think we do what we did last week. We bring the gun just in case. Bring the fan just in case.
See what happens.
If we need to get aggressive,
we can get aggressive.
I've got a 4-season gun tag, and we just make a move.
Wapa.
Yeah.
No, it's gonna be good. gonna be good. Excited to see what it holds.
And that was the only thing about last week. We brought the gun and the fan, but the reason we didn't try to make a move on that guy is because we were in a position where we only had permission for so much of it.
Yeah.
There's kind of a fence that cuts it off.
Yeah.
And he was on the other side of the fence.
Yeah, he was on the neighbors.
And so if we would have gone, that fan probably could have worked on him.
Yeah, probably.
Because if we would have put it up, he would have seen it. He probably would have been like, okay, yep, I'm in.
Yeah.
But the problem is we would have gotten to the fence.
And then it kind of be hands are tied a little bit.
Yeah. And so it was like we were going to run out of space.
Yeah.
So that was just like, well, let's just leave him be.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep. No, like you said, I say we wrap this up, but the moral of the story this week is, hey, it is getting to be the last week of Iowa turkey season. It's been a really, really fun year. Turkey season is always really good. And if you have the chance to get out there this end of this, like towards the end here, really try to savor it, enjoy it.
Yep.
And I tell you what, when one door closes, another door opens. When the turkey door closes, guess what door is getting ready to start creaking open?
Big buck door.
The big buck door. Yeah, I wasn't
Velvet.
Velvet Durskies. We're starting thinking about deer hunting then.
Come on.
And then it's around the corner.
Speaking of deer hunting, me and Benny took a good solid hour and we picked out every single buck we've had on camera on our phone, and we're developing all of them. Benny's already one step ahead of me. I already developed them. So I got like 300 pictures to develop.
Of what? Of deer from trail cameras.
Yes. Because, like, of course, for like 33, I have like a good handful of them, so I put them all in there.
Oh, well, that's the other thing is we haven't even mentioned this, and I don't know if we want to. This is just a little bit of a tease. We've already got a buck on camera with some nice bases already poking out there.
There was a pretty solid batcher group too.
Yeah,
There was like 3 of them that came in, and they all look pretty good.
well, I'll tell you what, that one that was on camera that had the bases, golly, those didn't look small. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes.
On the one spot? Yeah. But here's the biggest thing. Let's just talk about this quick. I know we're going to end it. Let's just dabble into this a little bit. Here's what's going down, okay? Let's let the cat out of the bag. Okay? 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 There's only one deer. There's only one deer that's on the hit list.
God.
There's only one. We only are looking for one deer the whole season. Nothing's gonna catch us off guard. Nothing's gonna excite us. There's only one deer, right? Right?
Yes.
Huh? There's only one.
And I think the thing that's going to be nice about that is I think we're going to have a pretty good idea.
Yep. And
Early on.
There's only one deer we're looking for. There's only one guy that we want to find, get him on camera, and hone in on him. What deer's that?
WT, World Traveler.
World Traveler, baby. It's the only deer we're looking for.
That is a buck that, with this whole picture thing that I was doing, I can't tell you how many pictures I had of that deer from last year.
Well, and here's the thing. We'll be able to pick him out early.
Early.
Why?
Neck tuft.
Yep. Yep, that's right. He's got a tuft of hair on his
It's on his spine,
on his
actually.
back of his neck that's all jacked up for some reason. I don't get that.
I don't know. He's had it for 2 years.
Yeah, if he got in a fight,
Maybe somebody missed him. I don't
somebody
know.
missed him,
Just grazed him. I
grazed
don't
him,
know.
but he's got this, and it always sticks up,
Yeah.
like a little colic or
Yeah.
something.
Yep.
And it's very apparent
I have
to
been,
see.
every single on that spot, every single picture of a deer we get, I analyze the crap out of it, and I still have not seen it yet.
I haven't seen him yet.
Soon, though.
Let's just make sure it's stated. The day after turkey season is over, the next day, so like next Monday, trail cameras getting moved. Maybe not next Monday because we'll be working, but sometime shortly after that,
Soon after.
soon after, within a week, trail cams are going to be moved to the deer spots. What's going out then?
Trophy rock.
Trophy rock, mineral. Camera sets,
Camera sets.
give him something, hopefully try to hone him in a little bit.
It's time to roll.
It's time to start just seeing if we can catch him on camera, okay? Because he's out there. We don't know if he's out there. We don't know if he died.
think he is.
We think he's out there. We think he made it through. We have no
You have no
empirical
idea,
evidence to support those facts, but that's
Except
what we're
for,
banking
like,
on.
A picture of him, like, I wonder when the last time we had him on camera was.
Late.
I think it was December-ish.
Yeah, there you go. So hopefully it was December past shotgun season, so hopefully he made it through. Come on, World Traveler.
If he's still there, he's going to
That
be
is the
huge.
only deer. If he's still there, it is going to be a long summer. If he's there, oh man,
He's going to be huge.
if he's there, he's going
He's going to probably be one of these bucks.
to be a biggin.
He's going to be like this.
He's going to be there.
But yeah, so hey, good things coming. A lot ahead of us. You know, arguably this is probably my favorite time of the year is once you can start getting trail cameras out and you start seeing them grow and seeing them show up. I absolutely love the summer just for deer.
But see, I'm gonna add a little caveat to that. I like the summer once they start showing up, because between now and when they start showing up, you get a little hangry.
No.
Yes, you do.
Well, last year
you get a little testy. You get a little like, what's wrong? What's going on? I'm mad at the world. No deer on camera. And I have to like pull you from the ledge like multiple times.
Well, last year Doc showed up before we even moved him to deer spots.
Yeah,
He did.
Well, you know what? There's some that we've also made a big decision on that, haven't we? On that spot.
Yes.
Yep, we're pulling a stand, and we're venturing into a little bit. We're venturing into a spot that we have permission for, obviously.
Uncharted territory.
That we did a little spring. We haven't even talked about this. We did a little spring before everything got green. Let's go in and look around, and we saw some rubs that
We'll put a picture.
make you lose sleep at night. Make you just
These
like
rubs
sell everything and buy as many tree stands as you can buy with as much money as you can, and just spend all your time deer hunting.
It wasn't a tree trunk.
No, wasn't
Rub.
the size of the tree. It was the height of the tree.
It was like, it was dang near. It was up to my chin probably, and I'm 6'5".
Yeah. There were some rubs that, wow.
Just, it was crazy. I've never seen them that high on a tree.
Yeah. And not just one tree,
No,
multiple trees.
You could look down and see 4 or 5 of them right.
It was just like
all real tall,
real high. Like, wow. And so we went in there and we looked around, and there is a spot in there for a northwest wind.
Perfect
spot. Little tricky to get into. It's going to be corn this year, which is going to be even harder, which could be good though, because
I think that'll work in our favor.
Yep. And I think it's going to protect that spot even more.
Yeah.
And then I think when it's time to move in there, you move in there, and oh baby, that could be good.
Capitalize on that. Done. I'll be rocking a single pin.
That's not even where World Traveler is.
No, but
that's just a different guy. I want to know what guy that is.
I have my thoughts.
You think it's Doc?
I do.
I don't know. Maybe. Now there is truth in that, because I did see Doc
in that field,
not too far from there, right there in the fall.
And he disappeared for the longest time.
Yep. And he all of a sudden just went MIA for no apparent reason.
Yeah.
Where he was all summer into the fall.
He showed up a couple times, but not very often. I bet you during the fall we maybe had him 3 or 4 times, maybe.
Well, and here's the thing. I don't know why it's this way, and I feel like I've become very sensitive to this, and you've seen it now too. The crop rotation on these spots
makes a massive difference.
Makes a huge difference. In a nutshell, what that means is when the crop rotation is beans, it's really, really good early, and it gets really, really crummy November, December, and late.
Yeah.
You follow? Mm-hmm. Meaning that we have awesome experiences during the summer, obviously on a bean field where they're in those green leaves chowing down all summer. We see them, we get them on trail camera. It's like, oh, here we go. And then all of a sudden, as soon as the leaves turn yellow and the velvet sheds off, and the leaves turn yellow, all of a sudden they just MIA.
Yeah.
And the years that it's corn, it's really, really tough all summer. And then it just gets better and better and better and better.
Yeah. And it's funny too, because I feel like that spot in general, in the 2 years that I've been a part of hunting it there, it seems like deer tend to not live there the entire year, which is pretty typical for a deer. But, I feel like there's some deer that will end up staying, but there's never been a deer that's been there in the summer and been there all fall. Think of Highbrow and that Big 8. We didn't get them until late October-ish.
Yes.
So they moved in somewhere. Now Doc, we had him all summer, every single day, morning and night, and then he left just completely gone. Mm-hmm. So it's just interesting how that farm kind of lays out. It makes sense. It's not a gigantic, huge piece.
It's not a gigantic farm. It's very fragmented with woods.
Yeah.
It's basically fields.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? And the reality too is a lot of what's around it is set up for deer to live.
Oh, yeah.
So we're just basically kind of hunting. We're hunting the outfield of all of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? We're just hoping for that high pop fly.
Just getting lucky.
Yeah, we're hoping to get lucky.
Yeah.
Now, but the other thing I will say about that too is it's not a coincidence that all of a sudden those bucks show up in late October, November, right? Because what happens, those bucks that are in those spots, those perfect spots, sometimes those, and I don't know, maybe this is a hot take. Sometimes I think perfect spots can be too perfect. Because it's perfect for said buck, but it's perfect for every other buck too.
Yeah, exactly.
So what do those bucks want to do? Well, all of a sudden, when it gets a little hectic and everything starts to get going up, they grab a doe and they pull them off.
Yeah.
Hey, let's go over here. Well, guess where over here is? Right where we are.
Yeah.
Right? They pull them off into this little spot way out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to be bothered by the perfect spot. Because guess what? That's where everybody goes.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't want to go where everybody goes.
Yeah.
They want to put on a little romance music and do the thing.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 110%.
You know what I'm saying?
And
they just pull them off, and then where they pull them off to is right where we are, and then all of a sudden we see a doe walk out, and there he is. There's Highbrow. Oh, there's Doc. Oh, there he is.
Yeah.
And well, where was he at this whole time? Well, he was in the perfect spot.
Yeah.
He was where he wanted to be, but all of a sudden when that starts to get not pressure from hunting pressure, but just pressure from other deer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Competition.
Yes, competition. It just pulls them out of there.
Yeah.
And they end up going into these kind of offshooted spots.
Yeah, and I mean, you think about it too. I mean, think about it in the summer, you see all these bachelor groups and stuff. Almost 95% of the time, I feel like you continue to see groups of deer, but you never see the big guy with them.
Yes.
That big guy knows better. He knows where to be, where to go.
Yep.
So he will always, I just feel like they tend to always break off at some point.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we're running into a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Epic.
And here's the other thing. Mission, and this is getting to be not what we plan on talking about, but here we are. And it's just kind of a bummer, but the whole emerald ash borer thing, all the ash trees here in the last year are dying off.
Yeah, hard.
We've got on the river that double stand, that's in a dead ash tree. The tree that the stand we took down last fall, remember I told you, I said, this tree's dying right now. I was out there this spring, deader than a doornail. On that other spot, where it's kind of iffy spot, we're right up against that bedding area. We walked by that the other day after you shot your turkey. We went to take those pics, deader than a doornail.
Dead, yeah.
I went up and grabbed that tree and the bark was like falling off.
Yeah, there's a lot of trees that are or a lot of stands in really good spots, but they're all in ash trees.
Yes, we're going to have to move some stuff around.
Well,
and that's kind of where we're coming up with the spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be good, I think.
So there's definitely some finagling we're going to have to do too, just because these ash trees are dying off. Mm-hmm. And it's a really sad thing because I mean, ash trees make great tree stands sets. You know what I mean? They really do. Like they're really nice, usually nice straight trees. It's, usually short bark, you know what I mean? Like you can set stands in them really nice. That's all going to go away.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
and all that being said too, we did find a really sweet spot. That's going to be hard to not go
oh my goodness. You know the funny thing about that? I was just thinking about that the other day. I was just thinking about that.
This place is undisclosed territory, but it's sweet.
We are going to keep this one way on the DL.
Yeah.
We are going to make it so that we're not going to accidentally say where this one is.
No.
This spot.
It could be sweet. I walked through it in the winter, and by golly.
Yeah. Late winter.
Late winter, and oh my gosh. Definitely some human pressure there, I think, though, but I kind of got the vibe they were gun hunters. So we'll just have to wait and see what it looks like. But, man, it looks like it could really hold some deer. So.
Well, yeah.
And we drove by it the one time, and there was for sure at least 30 deer standing there.
Well, and again, it's just, it looks like a spot that you go into. You go in there once you can legally set a tree stand or two. You get in there, you put a tree stand in for the fall, and then you go when the wind's right and when the weather's right and everything feels right on paper or whatever. You just go in there. You go in there for an all-day sit, or you go in there for a weekend. You go, okay, this Saturday, Sunday, this Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we're committing to hunting here. Mm-hmm. That spot feels like, you know, the person I'm talking about right now.
Yeah.
It sounds like a spot that a guy like that goes into, doesn't put out a trail camera, doesn't even put out a stand, just walks in there when it's the right time to be in the woods, when it's the whitetail rut, and all of a sudden you go, oh, wow, look, there's a monster walking right towards me. That's what that spot feels like. Yeah.
I'm just ready for fall.
The problem with that spot is you better be ready. You better put your big boy pants on, because
for undisclosed reasons.
Because that's the spot that all of a sudden you harvest a deer in there. All of a sudden you go, uh-oh.
Got a long night ahead of me.
You're going to go, hey, Cole, teach me how to quarter a deer. That's what you're going to be doing. That's what it's going to be. Hey, Cole, do you have your frame pack? You're going to say, hey, Cole, what's your brother-in-law Justin doing tonight?
Think of the content, though.
That's what it's going to be.
All right.
Okay.
All those landed right on the table.
Wow. Hey,
Sweet.
that's good. That's good luck. That's what they say when you throw wrappers and they land on the table and they don't fall off.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Podcast over and out. 106 in the books. Thanks for watching. Ozonics Killerwinds podcast. Another one in the books. Last week of turkey season. Don't be sad. Deer season's around the corner.
Be safe. See you next week.
Stay classy.